Welcome to our February mid-month conference call. It is February the 21st of 2023 after the market closes. God only makes so much land, JC. Real estate always goes up, JC. Gotta flip houses. Gotta flip the houses. Well, the fund companies clearly agreed to the point where they launched a home construction ETF. And as soon as they launched it, it fell 80%. Literally. And then in their infinite wisdom, the other ETF family said, oh man, we can't let that other fund family launch an ETF in the middle of a bubble. We need to make sure that we're screwing our investors also just as badly. So then they come up with the XHB, the home builders, right? See how they're getting creative. Home construction, home builders. They both launched roughly around the same time. Both lost 80% immediately after they launched it, right? Just classic. And then what had happened? Last summer, we successfully were able to retest those levels, just like financials. So we know coming into Q4, Barron's, these folks in their infinite wisdom decided to put a cover of George Washington jumping out of a dollar bill, wearing a tank top, flexing his biceps. And literally the dollar was peaking as they were printing that out. And then Bloomberg Business Week decides to put this like psychedelic, like trippy cover over here. Can't stop, won't stop. Right? Well, it did stop, and it can be stopped, clearly. And I look at Mr. George. Happy birthday this week to George Washington. Here he is jumping out of a dollar bill wearing a tank top, flexing his biceps, showing his the latissimus dorsi right here under here. See how I did that? And I'm like, man, this looks awfully familiar. I remember The Economist did that back in 2016. And the dollar immediately collapsed from there. And this time was no different, right? This time was no different, right? How many people you know have overexposure to Europe? You hear people walking around being, oh man, I own too many European stocks. Does anybody say that? Do you know anybody who's walking around being like, man, I own too much Europe, bro? Does anybody say that? No, nobody says that. You know why? Because they don't own too much Europe. You probably own too much American stocks. That's most likely what it is. They don't own enough Europe. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been saying, hey, is this a bear flag? Because it certainly looks like one. It definitely looks like a bear flag. And if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, then it's probably not a chicken, right? And I'm like, well, you know, right here, down here near support, maybe you could dig in. This isn't a bear flag, actually resolves higher, but that's not what happened. It was a bear flag after all. Looked like, so as it turns out, it wasn't a chicken, just a duck all along. Thanks, guys.